All right, so the show I'm analyzing is going to be One Day at a Time, which is directed by Norman Lear and is actually a reboot or a Latino reboot from Norman Lear's original One Day at a Time back in the day. The show doesn't really have any similarities other than it's a single mom raising her children and pretty much ends. Similarities pretty much stop there and carries on with her own or his own twist on things in this show, including the mom being a vet from Afghanistan, struggles with trying to get appointments with the VA, is a nurse, and is talks about her low income and how she struggles to support a family of four with her mom living in the household and yeah. So with this show specifically, we're going to be looking at the production style of it and its multicam setup and how that adds to the show or takes away or possibly could affect it negatively. So with a multicam sitcom, usually it's what it looks like is a pretty much a 180-degree angle in which the cameras move around the subjects or the set. And typically there's a live audience in the background. For this show, there's actually a pretty large live audience, as we can see. Probably looks like 100 people in there and a pretty wide set that allows for the cameras to move through the actual household from the front door all the way to the living room and capture the kitchen as well too for kitchen scenes. And it pretty much captures a whole house, a whole apartment that they live in. And it does a pretty fine job of, like I said, capturing the entire set. So the first topic I'd like to address is how does a multicam setup add to the comedic aspect of the series, and does this style of production add or take away from following character development? So in terms of character development, we have a pretty prime example here with Penelope and Max as she pulls him aside from the daughter's dance in order to see his true feelings towards her and try to get some clarification out of him. And we have a wide shot here of the two underneath the staircase, a sort of nostalgic, romantic middle school spot or early high school spot where people engage in this kind of activity. And we move on to, Max's kind of stern, face holding back, looking like he's almost holding back from saying something. Then he does get some point across where Penelope is it piques her interest, but she's also a little shocked at the same time. Cut right back in the same environment to Max kind of seeing that she's coming around and sort of kind of throws a little joke at her and eases the moment up a little bit, and Penelope reacts, in a very happy manner based off of his response, and she likes it, him confessing his feelings towards her. And then we cut back to the establishing shot, and within that whole period we just have a constant back and forth easy switching for the audience to follow and also follow the character development and not have to read into it too much with different camera shots and different setups, different lighting setups. It's easy for the eye to follow and easy for us as the audience to definitely pick up on the character development between the two, especially Max as he kind of comes around and finally admits his feelings towards Penelope. Now, with this little interaction that the couple has, I think it definitely is important on how this plays into character development within a multicam sitcom production style, as typically people seem to search for that character development through a very cinematic type of film, as opposed to in this live audience multicam sitcom. It is the same environment that these shots are shot. It's a two-shot cut back to a wide shot, and it's easy for the eyes to follow. Nothing else in the background to focus on that's different. The camera angles are just two simple camera angles switching back and forth, and it allows for the audience to focus more on what the actual character is saying and follow that emotional path and roller coaster that they are experiencing at this time. Now, in comparison to single cam setup and how that might affect the performance of actors differently in comparison to a multicam setup, I feel like it definitely takes away from the free flow of acting that multicam setup allows for the characters to, or the actors to really portray. In a single cam, I feel like it's very, even though it's very cinematic, I think definitely with just one specific line having 4 different shots and being on that set and the production crew having to have that actor repeat said line, however many times until they get it right, and then do the same thing for, if it's 4 different shots, 4 different times, and however many different times within those different shot choices. I feel like that definitely takes away from. I mean, I guess to each his own, but I feel like it does. It definitely does take away from a good natural sort of acting for the viewers to see. Now, in regards to the multicam setup, allowing the viewers to observe the set more and connect it strongly with the life portrayed by the characters, I feel like having that 180-degree angle and really being able to see an entire interior of an apartment, from the door all the way to the kitchen, and back. I feel like having that free space to just move back and forth and stop in between and depending on shot choices, I feel like it definitely allows the audience and, us at home watching the show to really look behind them, look at it really gives us more of a chance to really realize what we're looking at, realize the type of house they're at, realize, the small things, miscellaneous things, how that adds to the household, what it says in this show, what it said, what the things in the background or the household has in the walls or whatever type of furniture, what that says and how that adds to the Latino culture and how it just the furniture and miscellaneous things around the house, how that speaks and adds to the actual heritage and culture within the household. As we look at this second scene breakdown, it definitely does focus a little more on the emphasis of the comedic aspect of how this production style adds to the comedic aspect of this show. Here in this scene specific, we have the family sitting eating dinner. Alex goes about saying something a little off, a little weird, and we cut back to Elena's reaction, and she's kind of smiling, and she finds it sort of funny, but doesn't want to all the way burst out into laughter. Then we cut to Lydia, the grandma's reaction, and she's kind of stunned by it, and like, what did you just say? Cut back to Penelope's reaction, and she's also a little stunned by what he said, and she's there at this point. As you can see in the edge, Lydia and Penelope are both in shock, looking at Alex. And then we cut back to another wide shot, sort of unifying the family as they all break out into laughter. In the end, as they all do end up finding it comedic, whatever it is that he said. And I feel like this sort of unity between the family, knowing that as the audience is able to pick up on the fact that, nothing is taken too serious, and the fact that, they're all able to laugh it off. I definitely feel like these quick reactions and definitely the variety in reactions as far as picking up a certain reaction from every single character definitely, like I said, unifies this specific scene and really hones in on the elements that are really playing their part in bringing this comedy to life and this joke in specific in this scene to life. I feel as though with this show in specific, it's very easy to see how great the multicam setup works in regards to the differences between a single cam use and multicam setup. I definitely feel like the cinematic aspect wouldn't do it justice just based on the type of acting that we have going on here. And we see how great this multicam setup works in its different aspects, how first of all, simple the shots are, makes it easier for the audience to follow along, and at the same time read into the storyline and the different aspects and different challenges that the characters are facing. And I definitely feel as though for this type of show, this type of comedy, if we were to see a little more cinematic action, I feel like it wouldn't do the interactions justice as far as when it comes to laughter and different little smaller jokes or inside jokes. I definitely feel like justice is done right when it comes to the production style of the show and how they go about filming it overall.